Hey guys, Steve here. Wanted to come on here with a video and show you just some basic things that I do when a machine comes in the store, and I kind of troubleshoot the machine just a little bit. I do a brief inspection of the machine and make sure it's threaded correctly, make sure the needle's not in backwards, make sure the obvious is not, right there sitting in our face. So here's a situation that I see all too much. There's different opinions on should you use the thread cap on the end of your spool or should you not. This machine, here's what I suggest. If you have a coned shaped thread like this, you usually don't have to use the spool cap because the thread is coming right off the edge of the cone. So you don't have to use a spool cap for this. If you do, you can use one of those ultra small ones that just hold the inside of the cone on from flying off the machine. So a lot of times you don't even have to do that. But this customer had the thread on there backwards, and I don't know if you can see it here, but it's got little barbs on the end of this spool cap on a couple different places. A lot of thread manufacturers have this on the thread, and this is to, when you're storing your thread, you can wrap the thread around that and it will hold it firmly. But let me show you what happens. When you put this spool of thread on here, and I always have the machine turned off, I always have it threaded. And what I like to do is I like to pull on this thread when it comes out of the needle just to see if it's getting caught anywhere. And I don't know if you can see it, but it is getting caught right there on that little barb. So that is a problem. And then the thread pulls over, it's gonna break, it's gonna shred the thread. Even if you rethreaded this machine 1,000 times, I'm gonna do it again, it's gonna get caught on that barb. It gets caught on the other barb. It's gonna pull it, I'm pulling it very hard now, and it broke the thread on me. So this is what happens when your machine sews. It is not going to turn out well for you guys. So make sure your thread is on there correctly. If you do have a spool of thread that has end caps on both sides, make sure your spool cap that goes up against it is a little larger than the diameter here, just so it will feed off smoothly. So, all we have to do with this machine is put the thread on there with the small side down. We can thread it up. Now when I pull the thread, see how evenly and consistent it is flowing off that spool of thread? These spools of thread are designed for the thread to just puddle off the end. So if it's on there correctly, it will be more than happy to come off the spool for you. I don't know if we can see it here, but I'm going to take this spool of thread and show you something that I've seen all too many times. So I'm going to give this thread just a little bump there. And see how easily that thread just falls off? The weight of the thread is going to pull this thread off the spool cap. So it should fall off the spool cap that easily. Look at that. It's crazy. Now, if I turn this spool over, it's not going to fall off like that. It's going to get caught on those barbs 100% of the time. So make sure your thread is on your machine correctly. I have a lot of machines that come in. People don't know these little simple tips. You think it would, I take it for granted because I've seen so much and seen so many come in over the years with these issues. From your featherweights to your top of the line embroidery machines, your 10 threads. That's one of the first things I do when someone tells me their thread is breaking and their thread is shredding. Of course, I'll change that needle out and then I'll thread that machine up with the presser foot up. You don't want that tension closed up. With that presser foot up, I'll pull that thread and make sure it unwinds off this thread pretty smoothly. The machine will tell on itself. It will tell you where it's getting caught at. If you feel it getting caught, just take a second and look and see exactly where it's getting caught. It should come off this spool so free, should not get caught up or get hard, then get loose. There's a couple springs in here This spring could be broken on your top tension. This check spring could be broken down here in the bottom area. Let me turn the camera just a little bit for you. There's a couple springs in this area here. There's a spring inside here that could be broken, be causing problems. Actually, there's a couple. There's a tab up here that holds consistent pressure on the thread. Spring up underneath there could be broken. There's a check spring down here underneath number 3. That spring could be broken. It could be down in the down position, which is causing tension on the thread. There are a number of reasons, but my point is simply, if you would just grab your thread and pull it after your machine's threaded with your press to fit up, you would see the problem. The machine will tell on itself, literally. So, hope this helps. I'll see you guys in the next video.